All right, guys, it's Paul Singh, the Market Speculator with bullsonwallstreet.com, May 18, 2017. A lot to talk about today. Big move yesterday, huge move down here. 1.77% on SPY, essentially wiping out about 2 months of gains here. The last time we closed at this level was on March 30th. So, really obviously negative day here, and today we're getting continuation, at least pre-market. SPY down 0.35%. The Q's holding up better, 0.12, and the Russell down more, almost 0.5%. Surprisingly, crude is down 1.3% after holding up nicely yesterday. It's good that we got out of that position, and VIX is popping again today. So a lot of fear in the market. You can see here where SPY is set to open, right around in the 230, low 235s here. So the question is this a momentary blip related to some of the political events going on, or are we going to get the decline here? Looking very much like a failed high breakout kind of double top here. We had the big run. We would have expected a continuation move here. That didn't happen, and then we got the big push down. Before we get into the markets, let's quickly go into yesterday's trading. It was really active here with some stop outs, with some profits, with some new trades. So let's dig into that. Let's get into the UWT trade first, oil. Now, initially, the plan was to go up to 18. We entered at 1584. We were sitting on over a point, so over $1,000 gain here. When it was in the low 17s, we talked about protecting those profits, making sure we got at least that 1 point gain, which is pretty good on a $15 stock. So waiting intraday to see if we got that continuation. And after oil inventories, excuse me, guys, an hour after the open, it looked like we were going to get that continuation, but then started to pull back in. So we took profits in the low 17. So nice win there. And, you know, these days where we get the big moves down in the market with SPY here, what happens to a lot of people is not only does the market wipe out months of gains, traders will wipe out months of gains by getting stopped out continually. So you want to try to minimize the damage. And we essentially broke even through this, which is actually really good. Let's get back to how we did that. We took the profits in UWT. Then we took some normal stop outs in Facebook. Now, closed at 144.85. We got out at our stop range in the 146s. So our normal small loss, X was the same thing. Stretched it a little bit. I think I initially said 1980 to 2020, and we got out at 1970, but not too big a loss at all. And then finally, LABU. And biotech through part of the day was holding up really well. Had actually bounced back up into the 47s, but when that bounce failed, that was the time to give up on it. And we stick to our stop range around mid 46s, which is right where our stop range was, and you can see it closed all the way down in the 45. So those were our three losses, our three stop outs, and we had already seen some weakness in the market before when we were starting to fail at the highs here. So because of that, we took our profits in Tesla and FSLR a little earlier than we normally wanted to, and that's part of understanding what's going on in the market, and that protected those profits. So actually, when I said we broke even, if we count those two trades, we actually have come out of this ahead. But going back to yesterday's trading now, UWT, we took the profit, and then we got the NVIDIA trade, which was actually supposed to be a swing trade that would last a few days. And my initial target, I said 125 to 130, and I was actually even looking down here at the 9, maybe at 123. But we entered in the 133s, and we were already gaming this even before the potential market pullback, as this thing was an earnings breakout getting very extended. This is the classic runner short we look for. We're looking for the signal. Almost got it here, but closed strong. Then when we gapped down here, that was almost a gimme that we're going to take that trade. But again, it was supposed to be multi-day, but it turned into a day trade, but we weren't using classic day trade signals. It was just, we got such a big win, we got out. So 133, we got out. in the 129s. I don't remember exactly where, but right in the 129s, lower 129s. Now, did close at 127 and is bouncing back up to 129 today. But we had such a big profit that in such a short period of time that it was time to take the profit. So we got the profits in NVIDIA. We got the profits in UWT. We had already taken it in Tesla and FSLR as we saw weakness in the market. And then small losses in Facebook, X, and LABU. So essentially coming out of this, we came out a little ahead, which is better than most people are doing through a period like this. So really happy with the way trading went through this. And then at the end of the day, even though the market is weak, we went with the RRGB trade. This is the classic earnings breakout on a low float, heavily shorted stock where we could potentially get a short squeeze. Entry was at the end of the day at 70.75. We ended up closing at 71.40. The idea here is there's so much volume, so many shorts that could cover here that we could get a nice pop. Now, on a normal trade, I might be going for 75, 76, 77 on this. Because of the market, I might take profits a little earlier, around 74, 75, if we get up to there. Now, natural profit taking here. So it looks like we're going to open right around our entry level. If this thing goes, you intraday traders know this setup, the red to green, where you open below previous close and then ramp up above it. If that happens, we could get the push. We could get shorts to start covering. And I haven't set an exact stop here, but I would say 68, 69. If it pulls back in there, I'll stop out for, again, not too big of a loss here. So that's the only position, 2017 new entry position right now. We've basically cleared everything out. And now, aside from RRGB, and now we're going to wait to see what happens with the market. So good to be patient here. There's no need to be a hero and make some kind of guess and hope you're right. Let's just wait to see what happens in the market. We got to assess these key levels, the 50-day moving average. Look at these ranges where we have some open gaps. We have an open gap down here at 231. So that's going to be a key level. This price action range in here, and then the old high, if the market really starts to tank, we'll watch that level very closely. So, there's nothing wrong with taking a week of no trades, although knowing me, I will take at least 1 or 2 shots, but they will be smaller shots. We're not going to risk too much. We're not going to risk giving up all the gains we've had over the last month. And another thing I like to do is assess what's going on with stocks that are showing some relative strength. So MZOR basically ignored what was happening in the market, where you see a sea of red in these watch list stocks here, and most of the green is only inverse ETFs. MZOR, very strong day yesterday, up 3%, testing the high. So we're going to keep an eye on MZOR, and PLSE. Very similar here. You wouldn't know that the market was tanking. And then, of course, we're going to watch VIX. I almost took the VIX trade. I did intraday trade it like crazy yesterday and had one of my biggest day trading days of the year, but up 36%. But as a swing now, we don't know how far the market's going to continue. And normally I would put on an automatic VIX trade, but I decided to trade NVIDIA instead yesterday, which worked out well. But we'll keep an eye on VIX, and if potentially we get a good entry, maybe we take a VIX position as well. So basically, the other thing is today, Brazil is getting crushed on some political stuff going on over there. So we'll keep an eye on Brazil for potential bounce play if it comes back in to this range in here. So that's it for the trade report. Stay patient. We're going to keep an eye on good opportunities. When they arise, could be today, could be tomorrow, could be next week, could be the week after. But trade patient, try not to give up all of these gains that you've had over the past month.